am I doing? What is that?
I don't know. I thought you
What-
were.
what
I thought you
the
were
hell
onto
was
something.
that?
I have no idea.
I thought you were going to do the muscle thing that you wanted to do.
No muscle things this time. I'm running out of intros.
And that was one.
Yeah,
Boom in the can.
it was different.
Yeah.
It was different. Hey, Warren.
Good to see you, man.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Catching the Light. I'm here with my good friend Warren, who once again made the long sojourn to Upstate New York to be here with us today. Thanks for doing that, my friend.
Route 81 and I are becoming good buddies.
Yeah. You haven't got any speeding tickets, have you?
No. I'm too conservative for that, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're a safe driver.
Some things you can't change.
You're a safe driver.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. We're here again today with Jackie.
Yeah.
Hi, Jackie.
Hello.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah. Well, speaking of conservative,
Yeah.
in some respects, I kind of we haven't really touched yet on the environment in California, and the ways that we grew up in New York State, and if you grew up in New York State, whether it's Buffalo, Syracuse, or have you, you're going to have your weeks off of school. You're going to get dumped on. You're going to have 7 feet of snow dumped on your head. So we certainly had experienced that, but California's a little different, and you develop a different kind of relationship with the environment and the weather out there. What was it like for you? I mean, with the adjustment.
Well, first of all, the first thing I noticed that was, I mean, when you say environment, I think of my surroundings too, and the weather. So the first thing I noticed, I remember I drove straight because I was so excited. My voyage from the east to the west was like what I imagine it was like in Shawshank Redemption for Andy Dufresne, like heading out. That's what it felt like, a jailbreak. And I drove 3.5 days with only breaking for sleep. I think I drove 13 hours a day. And I left on the last day of school teaching, and I got there exactly 3.5 days later. I remember the first thing I saw, it was 1 a.m, and the freeway opened up from 2 lanes, which is how I grew up with 2-lane freeways, to 7. 7. And I remember just looking like, how far, where's the median? I couldn't see it. And I'd never seen a 7-lane highway, and it was completely gummed up. It was a parking lot.
People can't fathom that. People can't fathom that. People are here, they're used to, their idea of an expressway is maybe the 490 in Rochester, right? Mm-hmm. Or the Thruway, the I-90. To have 7 lanes and for it to still be bumper-to-bumper traffic, it's unfathomable.
And it was 1 a.m.
Right.
So it was 1 a.m, and I thought, oh, well, there must have been a concert or something that got out. I should probably get off and find another route. No, that was just L.A. But
it's so soul crushing. The traffic. I mean, it is
soul crushing.
My friend Gary called me a couple months ago. I mean,
yeah.
We've been out of that environment for quite a while now. So you tend to forget how frustrating the traffic was.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to go down to Santa Monica, and it's 3:30 in the afternoon. We have to go 16 miles. It takes us 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And by the time we get down there, all we want to do is go back home. Because
right.
Now we're exhausted. The day's gone. My friend Gary called me a couple months ago. This is the whole message. I swear to God. Hey, I'm on the 405. And that was it. And it all came rushing back. Like I remember that frustration.
For people who have never been there, there's this triangle of doom. The 405 is the north-south artery, the 10 is the east-west artery, and the hypotenuse is the 101. And that triangle is where all of these millions of people try to get to work each day. And people say, well, why, New York doesn't have that problem. Yeah, because they have a subway system. You can't have subways with all the earthquakes. You can't, so there's no, and plus LA is so sprawling. They call it 50,000 suburbs looking for a city. And you can't possibly have mass transit because it takes so darn long to get to places. When I moved back east, the first time I went to the grocery store, which was down the street, I budgeted a half an hour to get there. And when it took me only 5 minutes, I was like, oh, that's right. It doesn't take a half an hour to go down the street.
Right.
Because it took me a half an hour to go down the street. So my first images of the LA environment was a 7-lane freeway blocked up, more billboards than I'd ever seen before. I remember seeing occasional billboards when I grew up in Syracuse, but this was every it seemed like 10 feet. There was another one, so I'd never seen that. It was like it just being inundated. And I saw it at night. I didn't know what it looked like at first in the daytime. And then the daytime came, and I felt like it didn't go away for 3 months. Because, there's that old song, It Never Rains in Southern California. And I thought that's probably hyperbole. It's really not. It never, I remember I got there in June, and I never saw a drop of it until September. September, like in New York, Pennsylvania, in the Northeast, you'll be out of commission. You're guaranteed for maybe 1 day a week to torrential downpour,
Yeah.
where you can't go outside, you can't be with your buddies, you're just locked in the house. Power outages and all that stuff from thunder and lightning. It never happened, and it kind of felt like perpetual summer vacation, summer break.
Yeah.
Was
Well, it's a
every
never-ending
day.
summer. It is the never-ending summer.
I remember the first time that it actually got quote unquote cold, what locals would call cold. It got to like 70, because normally, and that's the great thing about LA is that it doesn't ever really get to roast you like Vegas. It doesn't get to be 110.
Well, yeah, sometimes in the valley.
All right. Well,
I remember a couple times it got up to going by the bank there down Ventura Boulevard on the way to work, and my car hadn't had AC in 3 years because I couldn't afford to fix it. And I remember it was 108, 107, and I remember getting to work and my shirt it's literally it's dripping off me. It's just like plaster. You could see my nipples.
That's a normal weekday for you. The nipple. Either way,
a lot of my shirts were tight. I had tight shirts. What's your point?
My point is this: don't you think most days averaged in the 80s? Wouldn't you say?
Yes.
High 80s? Okay.
Yeah, high 70s, low 80s. Yes.
When it got to about 70, I went to, I think it was Staples, and I was cashing out. And as you know, those little sliding doors are near the cash registers. They're kind of positioned near the door. And I had a T-shirt and shorts on. It's 70, right? The guy in front of me is wearing a leather coat and jeans. And the doors went, zzz, someone had left, and the breeze just kind of blew in, and the guy goes, and the girl goes, I know, right? It's kind of winter. And I was looking at these people like, are you kidding me? I mean, because in upstate New York, I remember usually when it hits 60, you start putting on the T-shirts and shorts when winter lets up and you get that first 60-degree day.
Yeah.
So this was 70. This was nothing. Like, these people are insane.
Do you think there is something to thick skin, thin skin, and do you think that you could acquire it and then lose it? Because I feel like I get colder now.
People told me it was blood, that your blood thickens or thins,
Okay.
and I don't even know if that's true.
Okay.
But for me, probably the single biggest environmental, obviously, all that stuff does affect you on a day-to-day basis. But the thing that affected me the most, and when I tell people about it, everyone has seen earthquakes in the movies. So few people have actually been in one. And in the Northeast, I know we occasionally get these little tiny little vibrations. It's like your phone on vibrate. Once every 20 years, they get this little, just barely little imperceptible shake, and people say, I lived through an earthquake. No. And I'd even lived through the bad one, because I lived through one that scared me to my core, to death. I really thought I was going to die, and it was nothing compared to what I'd heard.
Your introduction to it, the first time that you experience it, whether it's a 5.2 or a 6 point, whatever it is so unnerving to experience the earth moving beneath your feet. I mean, it's indescribable. There's no way to explain it. I mean, you can do this for people.
You can shake the camera.
It's not like that. It's just...
Here's what happened to me, right? So I thought they'd be cool, by the way, because they looked cool on TV. I was on a date, and the date was going pretty well, so we ended up back at her apartment, and it was about 2 a.m, and we were watching a movie. We were watching Seven. She'd never seen it. I'd never seen Seven? I was one of those idiots who like, how can you never see Seven? We got to go rent it right now. Back when you used to rent movies. It was the summer of 99, and Joshua Tree Park, which is where U2 famously took that picture and named their album, Joshua Tree was about 2 hours or so east of LA. And there was a huge earthquake out in Joshua Tree this particular night, and it rippled all the way to us in LA. Where her apartment's like Fairfax Boulevard, so we're south of Hollywood. And I'll never forget, my body didn't know what was happening to it at first. Because when your brain's never experienced something, how do you measure it? I mean, it'd be like trying a food you've never tasted before. There'd be that moment of like, what is this that I'm eating? So my brain was trying to make sense of what was happening. The house started not vibrating. Vibrating is the wrong word. Here's what I tell people it was like. Jackie, you know who Superman is. Mm-hmm. It was as if Superman was outside our apartment building, our home, with his hand on the roof like this, and taking our house and going like this. Like that. And because the walls started shimmying like this, and the whole room's doing this, and stuff's falling off the buildings, falling off the shelves. I start screaming like a 4-year-old, like, oh my God, we're all gonna die! I think I screamed, oh my God, we're all gonna die, the cliche thing that you scream. The girlfriend was very calm in this whole thing. She said, "Stand under the doorway." Like that's going to save me from 17 tons of concrete flattening me.
Yeah.
I was just peeing my pants, and I think she was from San Francisco. She knew about this. And come to think of it, she broke up with me shortly after that night. Well, yeah, that's neither here nor there. I never felt so out of control. I think we all tend to think we're in control of our lives, but I've never felt like we are insignificant.
And it's so disorienting.
What was it like for you?
It's I mean, first off, I'll say this: the way that you were describing this is how I used to dance at the clubs.
Oh, really?
So like this doesn't bother me that much.
Okay.
You see that?
That's good. I
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
But it's I would liken it to maybe suddenly being on a planet with a different gravitational pull. I mean, that's how disorienting I think it is, or being like in a zero gravity chamber. I mean, the only thing you can think to do, I mean, the first time in my mind, I'm going, wait, stop, drop, and roll, or go under the bed, or run outside, or, and the car alarms are going off in the distance. You can hear dogs barking. It's just, things are falling. You hear things breaking. I remember once my buddy Shaw and another actor and I were running lines in the living room.
Yeah.
And this was
These are lines of dialogue, people.
Dialogue.
Lines of dialogue. Running
yeah.
lines of dialogue.
Yeah. I'm a good boy.
I'm just saying.
I'm a good boy.
I'm just saying. Please,
yeah, we were running lines for a script, and it started, and it was, they say that there are two types, or there are like the undulate, and then there's the shifty back and forth, whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's me at the club.
Yeah, I think that's
this?
the shifty. I think that's what we had. Yeah.
And we all just sat there, looking at each other, just hoping, waiting for it to stop. And that's you just don't know. I think.
Doesn't it feel like forever? By the way,
it does. It really does. I mean, every minute feels like an hour. And
oh yeah.
I think the mortal fear is that, well, what if this keeps going? Like, what if this doesn't stop?
Or is the beginning of something even worse?
Right. And then there's the aftershocks, and I remember Robin Williams said that one of the great things about San Francisco, about being in the Bay, is that every so often they'll get a shake, and the whole community, they band together after that, and they really come together through that adversity, and suddenly it's like the city of brotherly love again, and they're all kind of helping each other, bring stuff out to the road.
They were teleported to Philadelphia all of a sudden?
No, I know Philadelphia is the city of brotherly love. I'm saying
because you called that one
what
the
I
city
meant.
Of brother.
What I meant was suddenly there is some brotherly love going on in the wake of
Because I'm just saying it's like an expression.
Whatever.
Sorry.
Anyway,
did you
when I was speaking of City of Angels though, when I was in Atlanta,
the City of Angels. You're good. But why did you say that everyone kind of banded together and you were all appreciative?
Well,
of life
I think that there is something to this kind of communal, in the aftermath of sort of a collective. It's not even that it's a tragedy, but it's a scary collective experience.
Yeah.
And Robin Williams would say that it was always after that everyone, would be treating, smiling and, you can take my place in line, or, I'll hold the door open for you. Here, when you're living in a climate, I think that is, sort of consistently oppressive, at least for 4 or 5 months out of the year, I feel like it's different in that people sort of suffer from the seasonal mood disorder. I think people can get a little, I feel like I get a little bit of cabin fever because you don't have a reason to go outside. You'd mentioned earlier how when you're in LA and every day is the same, it's just uniformly the same. Every single day is 81 degrees. You never have that day where like, oh, good, it's a rainy Sunday, so I have a reason to be lazy today. I can just get a pint of Ben & Jerry's and read a book. When you're in LA, you feel like you got to be out doing something.
Because you came 3,000 miles to be there, for one.
Right.
And
you can't squander it. Dodger fans can go to a playoff game at Dodger Stadium. They might leave in the 7th inning of a tie game because it's sunny out. The beach is over there. There's stuff to do.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I wasn't prepared for that. When I first moved to LA, it was in the middle of El Nino. So my first experience, I think it rained, for like 26 straight days.
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't rain for 4 months in a row, and then it rains every day for an entire month.
Right.
Which is just crazy.
And I'd always heard it's such a dry climate, it never rains, et cetera.
Yeah.
And So my idea of that place that first month was this is the wettest place I've ever been. It never stops raining.
Okay.
And one thing that I noticed too is that people in upstate New York, they know how to drive. It's like they got the tiger paws on the road. They know how to drive in bad weather.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be 3 feet of snow. We get through it. I remember seeing a woman on Ventura Boulevard. I mean, it was drizzling. You know, I mean, the rain is bouncing off the road. It's going into the sewers. There's no snow. There's no sleet. It's not cold enough. And there's a woman driving down Ventura Boulevard with a little rain on the road, and she's like this. I mean, people treat it like
It's
this exotic, this substance from like another planet.
they have no practice in it.
That's what it is.
And it's just, I heard theories about how, like, you know, if you go so many months without rain, all the little drippings of oil and gas from our cars kind of slicks the road. You don't even know it's there until it gets wet, and then all of a sudden it's a slick. I don't even know if that's true or not. I just heard people talking about it. But I do want to say before we get off earthquakes, because then there were these little tremors. I remember being at work, and I tried to describe it. Here's the best way I can describe it to people. I'm working at ABC at the time. I'm on the 10th floor, the top floor. There'd be no reason, logically, for an 18-wheeler to be driving right outside my window. But this, nonetheless, is how it felt and sounded. I'd be typing there in my cubicle on the 10th floor by a window, and all of a sudden, going 85 miles an hour, it felt and sounded as if an 18-wheel Mack truck just buzzed my window at 3 inches from the window. Just like it was a rip. It was like a superhero who can shoot the force through their fingers. It was like that, and it just went all the way down the wall. And it would sound, just if you can just picture right now, like a Mack truck behind Jackie's head, just and all of a sudden I go like, oh God, because I didn't know if it was an earthquake, and everyone else, they were all just like this. They're all just typing, going, you know, like
Don't miss a beat.
No, it was nothing to them.
Yeah.
Like how?
No big deal.
Yeah. I mean, I just how can you live this way?
Yeah.
That could have been the end of us all.
Imagine being inured to that experience.
How?
Yeah.
That happened once a month. Once a month, I felt that, and it scared the pants off me every single time because you don't. I mean, it felt like, well, that's what it would feel like if a building fell down on itself. Only it'd be that, and it would never end. But you don't know when it happens if it's ever going to end. So, I mean, obviously, I think people get drawn to LA because of the beaches. You know, the iconic Venice Beach or Santa Monica Pier. When I got there, I thought, oh my God, they shot Fletch right under this pier. I know they did, because I mean, it looks just like. And you see the basketball courts, like that's where Woody Harrelson played in White Man Can't Jump. I know. I mean, it's because it's so plain. It's so obvious. That's I Love You Man. That's American History X. Like there's 90210. That little. Every time you see someone, whether it's Three's Company back in the late 70s, all the way up through to Baywatch and 90210 and everything now, whenever you see someone rollerblading or roller skating on a little sidewalk that cuts through and the beach on it, that is the Venice Santa Monica little sidewalk that's over in the beach. Like I remember walking around in that kind of environment. When I think of LA, it's like we live in the dream factory. This is the greatest place on earth. And then I'd get the daylight scared out of me and say like, this is no way to live.
Right.
You know, like it was always that push-pull, but
well, you're about to get the Jesus scared out of you again because I'm going to beat you at quotes. You should be scared. You should be scared.
I can't remember what I've got served up for you. I love that we're doing a new rule that if you laugh, you're disqualified for that quote.
You laughed a lot last time.
That rule hurt me last time.
That did, man.
Hurt me
E.T. phone home.
significantly.
E.T. phone home.
All right.
I want some revenge.
Now, you stumped me twice, 2 times. So
I did stump you.
Yeah, that was very, very close.
But I was unable to control my impulses.
I would have had a crushing defeat if you would have controlled that.
Yep.
Okay.
This is for you.
Okay.
God, it's this one. Ooh, I know that smell. I know that smell. Roy, can you imagine if we had driven all this way to Florida and it was close? Oh, man.
Jackie with the acting chops. What is I mean, I don't know. I had a healthy breakfast this morning. There's no excuse. Can I hear it again, please?
Do we have to do the same thing that you wrote down
Please.
again? Okay. Ooh, I smell that smell. I know that smell. Roy, could you imagine if I had driven all this way to Florida and it was closed?
She said Roy that I didn't catch before. And the only Roy I know would be Roy McAvoy, Kevin Costner, and Tin Cup.
No, I try to include enough in these quotes that so there's always going to be some clues, right? It's vacation. It's Chevy Chase going, ooh, I know that smell. Ooh, I know that smell. Remember Roy says, yeah, me and the family drove all the way across the country. Well, you remember the smell from the back seat was, the smell.
Roy Wally
Yeah,
World.
so he said,
oh, man.
Florida was closed. I thought you.
If Florida was closed, regional dialect. I didn't pick up on that.
I understand.
It says Jackie make a face like you smell something bad.
Yeah.
No, you did a great job.
Good job, Jax.
That's me not. And I've seen that movie 1,000 times. That's no excuse there, man.
Okay.
All right.
1-0. No. 0-0.
No, you got me. It's 1 point for you. I didn't know it.
Right.
Did anybody
okay.
laugh or no?
No, not that time.
Okay.
No.
Was it the second time that he laughed though? Because I remember somebody was laughing. Was you or Warren? I don't know.
There will be no
Just
laughing
move
this
on.
time.
Yeah, no, we're
not gonna
deadly
get me.
serious now.
Time of your life, huh, kid? Maybe she's on the choo-choo. I hear she's got this thing about choo-choos.
Oh, I know this.
Yes, you do.
Time of your life. Time of your life, huh, kid? Time of your life. Come on.
Choo-choo.
Oh.
Why don't you hear it one more time?
Again.
I got it.
Oh, he's got it.
I got it. That's Joey Pants.
Yes, it is.
That's risky business.
Yes, it is.
All right.
It's like when you're driving in LA when it's the traffic. You're like, ugh.
Yeah. Yes.
She knows the pain. She knows the pain.
And when you're doing that part when you went, with the text, there's like some drool dripping down your face. Just so you know.
Please let me know if there's drool
In
dripping
high
down
def,
my face.
that's-
Yeah, I can't have that.
In high def, you're gonna pick that stuff up, you know.
Okay.
Slaves are made in such ways.
Slaves are made in such ways. Wow. I feel like I've seen this recently, which is why it hurts even more. I've seen this recently.
I don't know if that's unfair. I don't know if that doesn't really give. I thought the clue was there.
There was another line where it's something was made in such ways. Slaves are made. Isn't it like a where
Yes,
they just switched the
that's
word
right.
slaves and that's
That's
the only
right.
thing that was different?
That's exactly right.
And even though I know that, I still I don't have it.
I think it was like wars have ended in such ways, or peace is made in such ways. Braveheart. You had it. That's it. That's the scene. You had it.
You know what I'm talking? I know. I
Yeah.
mean, like
Yeah. She says they're in her tent.
Peace
the,
is made
the
in
French
such ways. I think
princess's
so.
tent. Right. Peace is made in such ways. Slaves are made in such ways. Yeah. Okay. Sorry if that was.
Wow. No, I haven't seen Braveheart in a while, but it's one of my favorites of all time, and that's
Okay.
holy cow. I hope people at home are getting these. That'd make me feel better. You know, if people end up writing and saying, "Oh, how could you not know Brave?" That'll make me.
You've
feel
had a lot of
better.
wins.
But
I
it's
think
just-
you've had more wins than losses.
God,
so
I'm better than this, man.
all I have to do now is not laugh.
Yeah, because now it's 2-0.
I think it's unattainable. Yeah. I think it's. So
Well,
now,
do you have 2 left for you? You'd have to fumble both of these to even tie. I
okay.
think.
We only have one left.
Oh. You did Joey Pants.
What was the other one?
I have 2 stars in this one and 2 stars in this one.
Okay.
Well,
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
All right. Give me the next one.
I guess when you get older, you get these feelings, and these feelings make you do things you wouldn't normally do, like swimming with girls. Well, not with girls. You think was swimming with girls. Oh no, that's a waitress. No, it's just ordering in. She's a pool waitress.
You were actually doing the back and forth in that one. You were doing both.
I wasn't doing two actors. I cut out the other person's words.
Okay. I thought they were in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Vacation.
Yeah.
That's Chevy Chase in Vacation. Chevy Chase has made a couple appearances lately. with
Yeah,
us,
yeah. And that's the second Vacation quote this time. We were
Yes.
we were on the same wavelength.
Yeah. Well, it's a veritable treasure trove of quotes, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. The last one. I
Last
guess?
one.
No. Nuh-uh. Oh, wait. She was a great big fat person?
By the way, I started, so you have to have one more, because I went first. So there's got to be one
Okay.
more.
Okay.
But you're killing me. She was a great big fat person.
Should I do the voice?
Well, I don't want to get me help. I mean,
Okay.
she's a great big fat person.
I already did. Okay.
I don't know.
Oh.
Oh, it sounds of the lambs.
Wait. Was she a great big fat person?
It sounds of the lambs. As soon as you made that first guttural, I was like, oh man, how can I not know that? Holy cow. Oh man, well, you're gonna win anyway, but just because there could be.
Apparently, I need to do one more thing.
Okay.
Because
So there's one left.
the guy over there says he pretty much has a wise mind. Okay.
All right, Jax. One more.
It's none of my business, and hey, business is business. You use a gun. I use a fountain pen. What's the difference? Well, let's put it in my terms. You're a hostile takeover. You snatched up for some green mail. You're not expecting some poison pill to be running around the building. Am I right? Hans, Bubby, I'm your white knight.
Die Hard.
Yes.
I didn't have any of that until he said Hans Bubby.
Yeah.
that was that guy who was all
That's-
smiley and teethy
yeah.
and Hans Bubby.
Yeah.
I'm your white knight. Yeah. John and I go way back. John.
Yeah, John
what
boy.
are you doing, buddy?
Yeah. Yep.
I always thought that scene was interesting. I didn't buy that Bruce Willis was so like Bruce Willis somehow was able to divine exactly the dynamic that was going on in that room. So he understood exactly what was happening there, that this guy was being played, and Bruce Willis cared enough where he figures it all out and he's like, "Stop it! Don't tell him those things.
Right,
He's gonna
right.
kill you. He's gonna kill you." Yeah.
He's an experienced officer of the law.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was a New York cop.
Yeah.
The City of Lights.
The Windy Apple.
The way-
I cheated. That's from The Simpsons. The Windy Apple.
Okay.
Sorry.
Let's try to introduce new material
No.
in our show.
I do. Yeah, I apologize. You're right. Holy cow, man.
So we were talking about the environment and our
Yeah.
relation to it. How many times did you get to the beach? How many times did you get to see the ocean after? I mean, after the freeway became the obstacle between us and it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, didn't that just take the wind right out of your sails and say, forget it?
It did. When I left, I thought I was going to live down there. I thought I'd be there every day, because why wouldn't you? The Pacific Ocean's right there. I mean, I know I mentioned California Girls last time, but then there's Surf and Safari. Like, every Beach Boys song is either about the sun, the girls, or the surf.
Right.
And I figured, like, I better be experiencing one of those on any given day.
Yeah, that's
And
the mythology of LA
that's
and
how I
Southern
envisioned
California.
it.
Yeah.
But honestly, I woke up in the morning, I went to work. That's what I did most days. I woke up in the morning and I went to work. And at night, we would go out and go to a bar or whatever. And when I met my future wife, we went on dates to restaurants and movies. We lived very normal lives, which is not why I went out there to live a normal life, but it became normal. No, I probably only got down to the beach in like 8 years, 8 times.
Did you miss the change of season? I missed
right away.
the autumnal splendor. I missed the fall. I missed the leaves and the colors. Sherman Oaks got a little bit of it. You get a
Very
little
little.
a smattering of leaves here and there, but not enough to bag, not enough to put in a bag.
I missed the seasons immediately.
Yeah.
Even though permanent summer break felt nice at first. It's like, would you picture your favorite meal, every day? Would you really want it 3 times a day every day
Yeah,
without
diminishing
break?
utility. Yeah.
So, yeah, I missed even snow. I remember missing even winter. I didn't miss the 4th month of snow. I didn't miss February, March like we're in now, but I missed just having something different to change.
Maybe that's sort of the tiebreaker. Maybe that's what it all boils down to is what's worse, the 125th straight day of 81 degrees and sunny, or the 125th straight day of gray and cold.
I guess the answer to that will probably determine your happiness. Like the answer to that doesn't matter compared to your happiness. This is what I meant to say. If you're miserable, 125 days of sun is not going to fix it.
Right.
Which is why you and I met some really depressed millionaires sometimes, and we met some people who had some real problems even in paradise.
Right.
So it wasn't enough to fix whatever hole you have in your heart, and we probably all have them. I doubt the hole is sun-shaped or beach-shaped. It's usually there's a hole that only love can fill or only faith can fill or something bigger than just
it's an internal thing. Yeah.
Some people on a beach with a great sunset or
Right. Right.
So
did you ever experience a really beautiful sunset on a beach?
I've got a picture of me behind an amazing sunset. It might be the only one I did there in 8 years, but I do have a good picture.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a feeling you didn't get to the beach many more times than me. But
No. I remember when I first got out there, my buddy Luke and I went boogie boarding. I bought a boogie board.
Yeah. How many times did you use that?
Once. and not just because of the traffic and because we stopped going to the beach, but I actually had a crazy experience on the boogie board. I got caught up in a riptide.
Oh yeah.
And got taken out to the ocean. I mean, I literally in a blink of an eye, I suddenly was out about a half mile out to sea.
Yeah.
And I remember I'm hanging on to this thing for dear life. I mean, at first I thought it was. I'm like, oh my God, I can't get back into what is this? I'd heard of the riptide, watch out for it can pull you out to sea. But you're 24 years old. Yeah. Come on. How scary can that be? Really, it's going to take me out to sea. I see a lifeguard. It's like Baywatch. There's a lifeguard. There's tower number 3. There's tower number 4. There's tower number 5. They all have binoculars. And so, but after like 10 minutes and I was going further and further out, I remember I started shaking. I was getting really nervous. And I was rescued by the Coast Guard. One of the lifeguards at the tower made the call. The Coast Guard boat came in, and the water was so choppy it was like throwing me around.
Wow.
And they pulled me on. And I remember they asked for my name and where I was from. They knew immediately because I was stupid enough to be in this Walmart $8 boogie board that I was hanging on to, and they knew that I wasn't from around there because no one would be that stupid.
Oh. I tried to boogie board once at Zuma Beach because everyone said you
got
to go to Zuma Beach. That's like where Hollister's from or whatever, Malibu. And one wave that crushed me and turned me like some kind of piece of clothing in a dryer and hit my head on the ocean floor. Was like okay. It was not like as easy as the movies make it look. But to find out if I survived that wave, you got to tune into our next podcast because we're out of time.
I look forward to that. My friend. Thanks again for doing this.
Yeah, man,
thanks for
always fun.
I always appreciate you making that sacrifice.
It's not fun to lose to you. I don't want to come all this way up to be humiliated.
I think you're still ahead. I think you've won more than you lost.
You're being very kind. We'll see. I'm going to get you next time.
I've got one for next month that I think is going to get you though. I can't wait. And to everyone else out there, thank you so much for tuning in again. If you do see us on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe and check us out on iTunes. And please leave comments. We'd really appreciate it. Jackie, thanks for doing this with us again.
Welcome.
Appreciate you supplying the quotes as always. And we'll see you next time.